3, 2, 1.
Dandavat. Jai Sapadika Shri Guru Gaurachandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajakaacharya Astatar Sri Sriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajakaacharya Astatar Sri Sriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai, welcome to Sri Caitanya SCSMission morning class. Dandavat. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jita Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Haribo. Jai Srila Krsna Das Kaviraj Ki Jai. Srila Om Vishnu Padesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. And here's Tulsi Devi with snow falling behind her. A snowy spring morning. Haribo. So this is many points that Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj is giving us regarding the residents of Varanasi becoming Vaishnavas. And Mahaprabhu's arguments, or not really argument. The word argument is used in Caitanya Charitamrta more in the sense of mental speculation, an argument in the unceasing cycle of blah, blah, blah. I think this thing, that, blah, blah. But the actual conclusions are already clear, and those who are great, who can understand them, they will bring those conclusions out, and then everyone needs to simply, now I understand. But those who are averse to those conclusions will go on arguing in so many different ways without coming to the true understanding because of aversion. Aversion to the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda. So text 57 of the 25th verse, 25th chapter, of the Caitanya Charitamrta Madhya Lila. Tarko pratishta shutayo binina nasavrashiryasya matam nabinam dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano jena gata sapanta. Dry arguments are inconclusive. A great personality whose opinion does not differ from others is not considered a great sage. Simply by studying the Vedas, which are variegated, one cannot come to the right path by which the religious principles are understood. The solid truth of religious principles is hidden in the heart of the unadulterated self-realized person. Consequently, as the Shastras confirm, one should accept whatever progressive path the Mahajans advocate. This is a verse spoken by Yudhisthira Maharaj in the Mahabharata. Shri Krishna Caitanya Vani Amritera Dara Tihonje Kahaye Vastu Shaitattvasara. The words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are a shower of nectar. Whatever he concludes to be the ultimate truth is indeed the summum bonum of all spiritual knowledge. Esha bhavritanta shuni mahastriya brahmana prabhure kahite shuki karila gamana. After hearing all these statements, the Maharashtrian Brahmin very jubilantly went to inform Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Oh, who is speaking here? Excuse me, I just want to remind myself here. I think it's Prakashananda Saraswati began to speak. So, Prakashananda Saraswati Thakur is saying all of these things. After understanding the absolute truth from Mahaprabhu, and he was an expert arguer and an expert philosophical speculator, and the leader of all that, the leader of all those personalities who were attracted to that in Varanasi, which was a famous place of learning. But hearing from Mahaprabhu, it was like a shower of nectar, very satisfying to the heart, to the soul, to the aspiration, to everything, and to the intellect. Everything was satisfied by hearing Mahaprabhu's conclusive words. And so he now is speaking like this. After hearing all these statements, the Maharashtrian Brahmin very jubilantly went to inform Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Any question about this? Henakale Mahaprabhu Panchanade Snanakari Dekite Chaliyachena Bindumadava Hari. When the Maharashtrian Brahmin went to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord was going to the temple of Bindumadava after bathing in the waters of the Panchanad. Pate se viprashava vritanta kahila shuni Mahaprabhu shuke ishadhashila. While the Lord was on his way, the Maharashtrian Brahmin informed him about the incident that took place in the camp of Prakashananda Saraswati. Hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled happily. Madhava Shondarya Deki Avishtahaila Anganete Dasi Pe Menachite Lagila. Upon reaching the temple of Bindu Madhava, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, seeing the beauty of Lord Bindu Madhava, became overwhelmed with ecstatic love. He then began to dance in the courtyard of the temple. Shekara Praramananda Tapana Sanatana Charijana Mulikare Nama Shankirtana. There were 4 people accompanying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and these were Chandrasekhar, Paramananda Puri, Tapan Mishra, and Sanatan Goswami. They were all chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the following way. So those 4 people accompanying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and who were also dancing with Mahaprabhu in the courtyard of Bindu Madhava, were Chandrasekhar, Paramananda Puri, Tapan Mishra, and Sanatan Goswami. Of course, Sanatan Goswami had just heard so many instructions from Mahaprabhu, and he was still remaining there. Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. This is what Mahaprabhu was chanting. Gopal Govindaram Sri Madhusudan. They chanted Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govindaram Sri Madhusudan. This is another way of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The meaning is as follows. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He is the descendant of the Yadu family. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Gopal, Govinda, Ram, and Sri Madhusudan. Chauri Kete Lakshaloka Bale Hari Hari Utila Mangaladvani Svarga Martya Bhari. In all directions, hundreds of thousands of people began to chant Hari Hari, and there arose a tumultuous and auspicious sound that filled the entire universe. All planes of consciousness, in other words. Everyone was affected and influenced by that kirtan. Nirkate haridvani shuni prakashananda dekite kautuke ailalanya shishya vrinda. When Prakashananda Saraswati, who was staying nearby, heard this tumultuous chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, he and his disciples immediately came to the Lord. Dekhiya prabhura nritya prema dehera madhuri shishyagana shange se bale hari hari. When Prakashananda Saraswati saw the Lord, he and his disciples also joined the chanting with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All those Mayavadi sannyasis, they're chanting with Mahaprabhu. Prakashananda Saraswati was charmed by the Lord's dancing and ecstatic love by the transcendental beauty of his body. Kampasvarga Banga Sveda Vaivarnyas Vaivarnyastamba Ashudaraya Bijaloka Pulaka Kadamba. Ecstatic spiritual transformations began to take place in the Lord's body. His body trembled, his voice faltered. He perspired, turned pale, and wept a constant flow of tears, which wet all the people standing there. The eruptions on the Lord's body appeared like kadamba flowers. Harshadainya chapalyari sanchari vikara Deki kashi vashilo kerahaila chamatkara. All the people were astonished to see the Lord's jubilation and humility, and to hear him talk in ecstasy. Indeed, all the residents of Benares, Kashi, saw the bodily transformations and were astonished. And we might see something extraordinary and feel astonished in this world, but this was nothing worldly at all. And their astonishment was very deep in their conscious plane. They were astonished by the influence of the Lord's divine form on their hearts. This was the extreme magnanimity and generosity of Mahaprabhu. Loka Shangata Deki Prabhura Bhakya Jabihaila Sanyasira Gana Deki Nritya Sangvarila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regained his external consciousness, he saw that many Mayavadi sannyasis and other people were gathered there. He therefore suspended his dancing for the time being. Prakashanandera Prabhu Bandila Charana Prakashananda Ashitana Darila Charana. After stopping the kirtan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is a great example of humility, who should not be humble if the Supreme Lord is humble? After stopping the kirtan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is a great example of humility, offered prayers unto the feet of Prakashananda Saraswati. At this, Prakashananda Saraswati immediately came forward and clasped the Lord's lotus feet. Prabhu kahe tumi jagat guru pujatama ame tamara nahai shishyera shishya shama. When Prakashananda Saraswati caught hold of the Lord's lotus feet, the Lord said, "My dear sir, You are the principal master of the whole world. Therefore, you are most worshipable. As far as I am concerned, I am not even on the level of the disciple of your disciple. Mayavadi sannyasis generally call themselves Jagat Guru, the spiritual master of the whole world. Many consider themselves worshipable by everyone, although they do not even go outside of India or their own district. Out of his great magnanimity and humility, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented himself as a subordinate disciple of Prakashananda Saraswati. Shrestahanya kene karahine ravandana amara sarvana shahai tumi brahma sama. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, you are a great spiritually advanced personality, and therefore you cannot worship a person like me. I am far inferior. If you do so, my spiritual power will be diminished, for you are as good as the impersonal Brahman. So this is what Mahaprabhu is saying. You are one with Brahman. You are as good as Brahman. So if you worship me, this is going to actually be detrimental for my spiritual progress. Jajapi tomare shava brahma shamabase loka shiksha lagi aiche karite na aiche. My dear sir, for you, everyone is on the level of impersonal Brahman. But for the enlightenment of people in general, you should not behave in that way. Teho kahe tomara purve ninda aparada je karila, tomara charana sparshe shabakshaya gela. Prakashananda Saraswati replied, formerly I committed many offenses against you by blaspheming you, but now the effects of my offenses are counteracted by my touching of your lotus feet. Jivan mukta api puna janti sangsara vasanam yajjachincha mahashaktau bhagavatya paradinaha. If a person considered liberated in this life commits offenses against the reservoir of inconceivable potencies, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he will again fall down and desire the material atmosphere for material enjoyment. So this is the statement of Prakashananda Saraswati Thakur. He's saying even if a person is liberated, if he does not worship you, he will again fall down into the material atmosphere. Savai Bhagavata Srimad Padasparsha Hasa Shubha Peche Sarpa Vapur Hitva Rupam Vidyadararjitam. Being touched by the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, that serpent was immediately freed from all reactions of his sinful life. Thus the serpent gave up his body and assumed the body of a beautiful Vidyadhara demigod. This is a quotation from the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's in regard to one pastime. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, under the leadership of Nanda Maharaj, once went to the bank of the Saraswati on a pilgrimage. Nanda Maharaj was fasting, and he lay down near the forest. At that time, a serpent who was formerly cursed by Angirasa Rishi appeared. This serpent had formerly been named Sudarshan, and he had belonged to the Gandharva Loka planet. However, because he joked with the rishi, he was condemned to take on the body of a big snake. When the serpent attacked Nanda Maharaj began to call, Krishna, help! Krishna immediately appeared and began to kick the serpent with his lotus feet. Due to being touched by the Lord's lotus feet, the serpent was immediately freed from the reactions of his sinful life. And being freed, he again assumed his original form of Sudarshan, the Gandharva. So this particular Gandharvas are known for their beauty and their ability to sing very beautifully and dance very beautifully, this type of form. And he was making fun of this rishi because he wasn't very beautiful to look at. So he was kind of teasing about that. And then the rishi cursed him. Well, okay, you're so proud of your beauty, now you can become a big snake. But by being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna, that curse was lifted, and that person who had been cursed, he was also greatly reformed in his consciousness. Prabhu kahe Vishnu Vishnu ami kshudra jiva hina jive Vishnu mani e aparada chinna. When Prakashananda Saraswati supported himself by quoting the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately protested by uttering the holy name of Lord Vishnu. The Lord then presented himself as a most fallen living entity, and he said, if someone accepts a fallen conditioned soul as being Vishnu, Bhagavan, or an incarnation, he commits a great offense. So this is kind of, Mahaprabhu is saying, oh, you are Brahman personified, so I should worship you. And Prakashananda is saying, no, rather, if I don't worship you, I will fall down again, any liberated soul. And then the Lord is saying, oh, he's saying, he's comparing himself to a snake. And he's saying, by touching your lotus feet, this snake was liberated. And so I'm touching your lotus feet. And then Mahaprabhu is saying, Vishnu, Vishnu. Like this is a terrible, you should not worship an ordinary fallen soul as being Vishnu. And these are all instructive things, because anyone and everyone can call themselves Vishnu if they want to, but they're crazy to do such a thing. So Mahaprabhu is giving so much instruction here. Jive Vishnu buddhi dure je brahma rudra shama Narayane manitare prasandite ganana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued to say nothing of ordinary living entities. Even Brahma and Lord Shiva cannot be considered on the level of Vishnu or Narayan. Even Brahma and Shiva, if one considers them as such, he is immediately considered an offender and an atheist. So that is an offense to the holy name. Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudradi Daivatai Samatve Naiva Viksheta Sapasandi Bhavedruvam. A person who considers demigods like Brahma and Shiva to be on an equal level with Narayan is to be considered an offender, a pasandi. Prakashananda kahitumi shakshad Bhagavan Tabu Jadikara Dasha Abhiman. Prakashananda replied, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He's saying, yes, I understand that no ordinary living being or demigod should be compared to the Lord, but you are the Lord. Prakashananda replied, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself. Nonetheless, you are considering yourself his eternal servant. Tabu puja hautu mi bada amahaite sarvanashahaya mora tomara nindate. My dear Lord, you are the Supreme Lord. And although you consider yourself to be the Lord's servant, you are nonetheless worshipable. You are much greater than I am. Therefore, all my spiritual achievements have been lost because I have blasphemed you. You're considering this. This is why you're considering this. This is not known to me. But this is, you are the Lord, and you are considering yourself the Lord's servant. But you are the Lord, and you are thus worshipable. You are much greater than I am. Therefore, all my spiritual achievements have been lost because I blasphemed you. Muktanam api siddhanam narayana parayana sudurlabha pasantatma kotishvapi mahamune. O great sage, out of many millions of materially liberated people who are free from ignorance, and out of many millions of siddhas who have nearly attained perfection, there is hardly one pure devotee of Narayan. Only such a devotee is actually completely satisfied and peaceful. So this is a quote from the Bhagavatam, the 6th canto. O great sage, out of millions of materially liberated people who are free from ignorance, and out of many millions of siddhas who have nearly attained perfection, there is hardly one pure devotee of Narayan. Only such a devotee is actually completely satisfied and peaceful. Text 84. Ayo shriyam yasho dharmang lokamashisha evacha anti shreyang shisarvani pungsho mahadita krama. When a person mistreats great souls, his lifespan, opulence, reputation, religion, possessions, and good fortune are all destroyed. This statement from the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam was made by Shukadev Goswami to King Parikshit. When a person mistreats great souls, his lifespan, opulence, reputation, religion, possessions, and good fortune are all destroyed. When he worships great souls, everything can come to him, but when he blasphemes or mistreats a great soul, the complete opposite is there. Everything is destroyed. Naishammatis tavad urukramangring sprishanchanar tanarta pagamo yadarta mahiyasam pararajo bhishekam niskinchananam navrinita yavat. Unless human society accepts the dust of the lotus feet of great Mahatmas, devotees who have nothing to do with material possessions, mankind cannot turn its attention to the lotus feet of Krishna. Those lotus feet vanquish all the unwanted, miserable conditions of material life. This verse appears in the Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto. For an explanation, see the Madhya Lila. So it's actually a fact that without the great souls, mankind it's not even possible to turn our attention to the Supreme Lord. That is not possible. So they are the greatest. They are the greatest thing to be gained. There is nothing to be gained outside of their holy lotus feet. Those lotus feet vanquish all, again, this is the last line, those lotus feet vanquish all the unwanted, miserable conditions of material life. That's a good quote for the website. Are you there, Haridev?
I think he's downstairs, but I'll remember it. He's
Oh.
probably listening though, I'm sure.
Okay, so that's text 85
Text 85.
Mhm.
and
of chapter 25
Text 85, chapter 25.
of the Madhya,
Okay.
the 5th.
Well, Dominic asked to read it again. I'm gonna read
It says, unless human society accepts the dust of the lotus feet of great Mahatmas, devotees who have nothing to do with material possessions, mankind cannot turn its attention to the lotus feet of Krishna. That is the only way that can happen. By accepting the dust of the lotus feet of those great souls. Those lotus feet vanquish all the unwanted, miserable conditions of material life. And then text 86. Ebe tomara padabje upajibe bhakti tati lagi kare tomara charane paranati Henceforward I shall certainly develop devotional service unto your lotus feet. For this reason I have come to you and fallen down at your lotus feet. And who's speaking here? This is Prakashananda Saraswati Thakur, quoting so many verses. Eta bali prabhure lanya tataya bashila, prabhure Prakashananda puchite lagila. After saying this, Prakashananda Saraswati sat down with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and began to question the Lord as follows. And so this is a good place to stop, and we will continue with these questions tomorrow. Always something wonderful to look forward to. Any questions about this at all?
So when Mahaprabhu was saying, when he was quoting the scripture and touching his feet, Mahaprabhu was talking about himself? When he said, don't worship me as Vishnu, he was talking about himself?
Well,
I mean,
no.
obviously he was
Right.
making a point, right?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Right.
Because the Mayavadis are always calling each other Narayan.
Okay.
You know, like any ordinary living being can suddenly be Lord Narayan. And so he's saying, no ordinary, you should not do that, no ordinary person. He's saying, but you are Narayan. But he's giving this type of instruction.
Now we're talking. He's having ecstatic symptoms. This is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
All
And
of that.
Prakashananda Saraswati's like, wait, and then he's quoting all those lovely verses.
Nice.
You
Now
know.
he's going to ask him questions tomorrow.
Yeah.
He'll sit down, they're sitting down.
Yeah, lovely. All right, any other comments or questions? Jai Sri Caitanya Charitamrta ki Jai. Srila Krsna Das Kaviraj ki Jai. Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Guru Maharaj is saying, we must cross many planets, many oceans, many mountains, many circumstances to remove all the layers over the ego, over our consciousness, the egotistic layers. But this is a long journey, but we're ready for it. But we must always consistently hear. A day without hearing from the scriptures and a day without serving a devotee is not a good day. Srila Gurudev said that when he put a garland on the picture of Rishabdev one day, and he said, I do not want my day to go by, any day to go by without serving a Vaishnava. So we should keep this in mind always and do something to do some service for a Vaishnava. And always hear about the Lord. Never have a day when we don't hear something wonderful. That is a day that's not like a fast day. Jai. Okay, we now are continuing with beginning actually this reading and studying of the Upadesamrta again. And of course we'll study this again and again until the last days of our life. So now we are reading verse number 5, but I'm going to go through the verses again. Jai, Jai Srila Rupa Goswami ki Jai, Srila Rupa Nuga Varga ki Jai. Jai Sad Goswami Prabhu ki Jai, and of course Srimati Tulsi Devi ki Jai. Beautiful Mahaprabhu and Giriraj ki Jai. But you guys can chant these with me. We're going to be printing these out hopefully today, and everyone can have. We can even laminate them. Everyone can have a laminated copy so that we can keep these and chant them regularly, memorize them. They're very important verses. Vacho vegam manasakroda vegam jiva vegam udara pasta vegam etan veganyo visaheta dhira sarvam apimang prativing sasishyat. The urge of speech. What is manasa vegam?
Mind.
Yes, the urges of the mind. And it's good to notice. And then kroda vegam.
Anger.
Yes, the urge of anger. And then jiva vegam. Anybody? Means the tongue, the desire to taste. Of course, that is done swaprasadana dilo by tasting prasadam. But also, Guru Maharaj says, also, we do not want to eat in a way that is going to be detrimental for our health, even if it is prasadam, just because of the urge of the tongue. And then, jiva udaropasta vegam. What is that? The urges of the belly and the urges of the genitals. A perseverant person who can control all these urges can instruct the entire world. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangaschalo yangcha sabir bhakti binashati. Nash means to destroy. And in the, H.I. Goswami, Kori Chadana Vandam Jaha Hoite Bigna Nash, means that by bowing down to the lotus feet of these six Goswamis, all the impediments to devotion are destroyed. So bhakti binashati means these things destroy bhakti. So what are they? Over-accumulation, over-endeavor, obviously for mundane things, unnecessary talk, misapplication of the rules, which means over-attachment, and also neglect, association with non-devotees, and fickleness, unsteadiness. Bhakti is destroyed by these six faults. Utsaha nishchaya dharya tat karma pravartanat shangatyagat sato vritte sadbir bhakti prasidyati. So prasidyati. Prasidyati means here, it's given in the word for word, it means nourished. So these things help us to proceed. Enthusiasm, conviction, perseverance. Perseverance means it can get hard, but she's going to continue. Engaging in favorable activities, giving up bad association, and following the conduct of the sadhus. Bhakti is nourished by these six qualities. So here, what are the two things that are in both verses? What is the one thing that was in both verses? What destroys? Bad association. And what is nourished? Giving up bad association. So this is a big emphasis. Tadati pratigrahnati guhyam akyati prichati bhungte bo jayate jaiva sadvidam priti lakshanam. Giving and accepting gifts. We should give gifts to devotees and accept their affectionate gifts. This is an awakening of divine association. We must think to give gifts. Discussing and inquiring about confidential matters. Confidential matters of our progress and confidential matters in the upper devotees about relationships with the Lord. And giving and partaking of foods. These are the six characteristics of affection. And the fifth verse. Krishneti jasya giritang manasadriyeta dikshasti chet pranati bischa bhajantam misham shushushaya bhajana vigyam mananyamanya nindadi shunya ridam ipshita shangalabdya. This fifth verse, can anyone say what it's about? It's important. It's how to understand our relationship with different persons. And the first one is, honor within the mind those who chant Krishna's name. Anyone. Then honor with obeisance those who are initiated and serve the Lord. That means they have become determined. They have made a commitment. This is what I want. He's not just chanting the name, but without, really making that the soul of his existence. Then we honor that person within the mind. But we offer obeisance to those who are initiated and who want to serve the Lord. And honor with service those who are expert in bhajan. Doesn't mean musical bhajan. It means in the inner hearts, serving. Exclusive and with a heart free from criticizing others. Know them to be the most desirable association. So what were those three? Damodar Prabhu, you know any of them? Honor within the mind those who chant Krishna's name. Honor with obeisance those who are initiated and serve the Lord. They have made a commitment. This is what I want. This is different. And honor with service those who are expert in bhajan. Bhajan meaning worship. Exclusive. And at heart free from criticizing others. So those are the three categories of relationships and giving honor. Then number 6. Tishtrai svabhava janiter vapushascha doshe na prakritatvam iha bhakta janasya pasyed gangam vashangna kalu budbudape na pankter brahma dravatvam apagachati niradharmai. Do not consider devotees in this world to be mundane as a result of observing faults produced by their nature or in their body. This is very important. You may see that a devotee, a great descending Vaishnava, may become ostensibly angry, or he has some physical fault. That is never to be considered. The water of the Ganges never loses its nature as liquid spirit because of bubbles, foam, and mud, all of which are natural in water. And with the mundane, in the mundane world, all certain phenomena are just natural. But that has nothing to do with the inner position. Is that clear? Sria Krsna Charitamrta sitapya vidya pitopatapta rasanasya charochikanu kindvadarad anudinam kalu saiva justa sadvikramad bhavati tad gadamulahantri. The sugar candy of Krishna's names, pastimes, and so forth is not relishable to a tongue severely afflicted by the jaundice of ignorance. Alas! Certainly, however, when it is daily honored with faith, this candy gradually becomes sweet and eradicates the disease. Is everyone clear on that analogy?
Yes.
So sugar candy, if we have jaundice, it tastes very bitter. But by continually taking sugar candy, that will actually destroy the jaundice and it will again taste sweet. So this is the same with the name. Right now, the name is not so sweet to us. But there's a thing. when it is daily honored with faith. And also, we are going to avoid the offenses against the holy name, including and the namabas, with concentration and honor and faith. We are taking the name. Then it will destroy that jaundice, and the sweetness will be able to be tasted. Tannama Rupa Charitada Sukirtananu Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya Tishtan Bhajetan Anuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayedakilam Ityupadesha Sharam. Engage the tongue and the mind in the gradual process of complete glorification and constant remembrance of Krishna's names, forms, pastimes, and so forth. Reside in Braja and spend all your time as a follower of those who have deep attachment to Krishna. This is the essence of all instructions. Engage the tongue and the mind in the Is there any way you could be a little bit quieter in the kitchen? It's very loud. This heavy chopping, if it has to be done, it should be done before the class. Engage the tongue and mind in the gradual process of complete glorification and constant remembrance of Krishna's names, forms, pastimes, and so forth. Reside in Braja. Of course, this is not something literal, that every devotee is going to go to Vrindavan and reside there. In fact, it is not really recommended for us. But we have to understand that this is the heart's actual home. And spend all your time as a follower of those who have deep attachment for Krishna. This is the essence of all instructions. Then this famous verse, Vaikuntaj janito bara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavad Vendaranyam udarapani ramana tatrapi govardhan Radha kundam ihapi gokulapate premamrita plavanat Kuyadasya virajato giritate sevang vivekina kaha. Higher than Vaikuntha is Mathura, where Krishna took his birth. So in Vaikuntha there's no birth of Krishna. In Vaikuntha, Lord Narayan is God. He doesn't have any parents. But higher is Mathura, where the Lord has the pastime of taking birth. Higher therein is Vrindavan, where Krishna enjoys the rasa dance. Higher therein is Govardhan, where Krishna plays amorously. And higher than Govardhan is Radha Kunda, where the nectar of Krishna's prema overflows. Would any wise soul not serve Radha Kund at the base of Govardhan Hill? And now text number 10. Karmibhya parito hare priyataya vyaktim yagyaninas tebhyo jnanamivukta bhakti parama premaika nishtastata tebhyasta pashupala pankajajastastabhyopi sararika presta tadvadiyang tadiya sarashitang nashayet kakriti. Jnanis are known to be more dear in all respects to Krishna than the karmis. Devotees completely free from jnana are more dear than the jnanis. And devotees fixed exclusively in prema are more dear than devotees completely free from jnana. The lotus-eyed gopis are more dear than they are, And Sri Radhika is even more dear than the gopis. This lake of hers is similarly dear to Krishna. What would any fortunate soul not take shelter here? Or there, said. Jnanis are known to be more dear in all respects to Krishna than karmis. So this is not the impersonal jnanis, but those who are trying to understand the absolute truth. Devotees completely free from jnana are more dear than jnanis. And devotees fixed and exclusively in prema are more dear than devotees completely free from jnana. The lotus-eyed gopis are more dear than them, and Sri Radhika is even more dear than the gopis. This lake of hers is similarly dear to Krishna. Would any fortunate soul not take shelter there? Radha Kund is as dear to Krishna as Radharani herself. Who will not take shelter in Radha Kund? Srila Rupa Goswami is telling us. Krishnasyo chai pranaya vasati prayasibhyo pirata kundam chasya munibir abita tadrigeva vyadai ya prester apyalam asulabam kim punar bhakti bhajam tat premedam sakripi sharasnatur avishkaroti. Sri Radha is the highest object of Sri Krishna's love, above all his other lovers. In all respects, her lake has also been established as such by the sages. This lake bestows upon those who bathe within it only once prema that is extremely difficult to attain, even for those who are dear to Krishna, let alone for practitioners of bhakti. So, of course we know, but it doesn't hurt to emphasize that bathing in Radha Kund is not a physical thing. And we are not encouraged to bathe in Radha Kund physically at all. We do not want the waters of that divine lake to touch our feet. Or anyway, it would be external. But we take a drop or two of Radha Kund on our head. But bathing in that lake is something which, that kind of bathing is something which is bestowed upon a very highly qualified, pure-hearted, overflowing with love of Godhead devotee. That is not something that we can just suddenly do and think, oh, now I've attained love of God. Even this is not at all what it means. Of course, I think most of us know this, but we should understand these kinds of things. Hari Bol. So tomorrow we will begin. Every morning we'll sing all of them and just read the translation just for our practicing. And also, but not so much commentary, but just reading them and reading the translation. And then we will go verse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and read the commentaries. All right, we can stop here. Any comments or questions?
No.
Anyway, the kitchen's been super quiet, and I've been appreciating that. But we have to remember, okay, not to make a lot of noise because these microphones pick it up very much. So try to do all the heavy work, the chopping and all that, before, if you can. Haribol. Jai Sri Upadesamrta ki Jai. Jai Srila Rupa Goswami ki Jai. Jai Sai Goswami Prabhu ki Jai. Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki Jai. And always we have the blessings, or we're asking for the blessing of Srimati Tulsi Devi. No class ever takes place without the presence of Tulsi Devi. And the Tulsi plant is always brought next to the speaker. Here we, of course, don't have to do that because Tulsi Devi's right here with the snow falling behind her. Hari Hari Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshaya Nama Gopal Govindam Shri Sridham Shri Giriraj Govardhanju ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajakaacharya. Astacharyasita Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajakaacharya. Astacharyasita Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dardev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda ki jai. Sannyasi Vrinda ki jai. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Sad Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu ki jai. Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopagopi Radha Shyamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Jai. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gaurachan Viraju ki jai. Haribo Jai Shri Radha Kund ki jai. Haribo Shri Chaitanya Saraswati ki jai. Tadiya Sakama ki jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mission ki jai. Gol Kartal ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala ki jai. Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. Gol Kartal ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Haribo. I was thinking yesterday, Krishna saying, of all seasons, I am the flower-bearing spring. And now all the flowers are covered with snow this morning. But still, that is always lovely to remember. All right, Dandavat.
There's going to be water for the earth.
Yeah, very much so.
All right. So, Vima Krishna Prabhu.
Jai Bhima Prabhu. Nice to see, well, I don't see you, but nice to see you with my ears.
Krishna Priya Didi.
Oh, Krishna Priya, Dandavat.